Hello and welcome to coverage of the Magic Online Championship. I'm Marshall Sutcliffe in the booth with Kenji Egashira, and we are just about underway here in our second round of Modern action.
Yes.
This is the fifth round of the day. The players have already played some Vintage and have moved on now to Modern, and we've got a really interesting matchup with Ole Rade. You see him on the right side of your screen, Hall of Famer, Pro Tour champion, against his friend Magnus Lanto. They tested together for this event.
Again, the same exact 75.
Yeah, they decided that this was going to be the deck to run, and they're running the exact same deck against each other. This could be a fast one, Kenji. How important do you think the die roll is here? We're watching Elves Mirror in Modern.
Just getting that initial mana start is huge for these players. I'm wondering if they're I don't know. They played the ins and outs of the mirror match.
You know, they had to know that this was a possibility, right? But my guess would be they probably didn't spend a whole lot of time on the mirror, right?
Looks like we got a mulligan.
Yeah, so a mulligan there for Ole, who is also on the draw, which I'm assuming is pretty darn bad here.
Looks like Magnus's Nettle Sentinel start things off. That's got to be great, especially with the Heritage Druid in hand already. Yeah,
he's already got the Heritage Druid and one Nettle Sentinel, though his hand gets a little clunky from there with the double collected company and only one extra land, so he is going to need to start generating some mana. He looks like he's well on his way, though. Uh-oh. All right, now we've got a pair of Nettle Sentinels plus a Heritage Druid, and once that combo gets going, the mana is going to be flowing pretty freely here for Magnus.
Marshall, it's just the dream. I mean, ideally you want 3 Nettle Sentinels, just keep untapping and tapping your Nettle Sentinels in conjunction with Heritage Druid, but even 2 is good enough.
Oh yeah, 2 is plenty enough. Because remember, every creature that you cast is going to add to that. It'll basically act as the third elf here. You can take a look at Heritage Druid. You can see 3 untapped elves you control, and you get to add GGG to your mana pool. And as you can see, already he's starting to go off. Watch what happens here. Azuri Renegade Leader is going to hit the battlefield after untapping these Nettle Sentinels, and guess what? That sets up Heritage Druid again, where he could just make 3 mana over and over again. Now, as it turns out, he's got his 2 most expensive cards in hand. A pair of collected company.
He hit 4, double 4 cost, but
yeah. The problem here, though, and I think this is just going to be a reality of this mirror, is that it's not like either player can kill the other creatures.
Nope, not at all.
They're just staying.
Who's overrunning first?
Right, that's the question. And right now, there is no question. It's going to be Magnus Lanto at this point in the game. So Ole Rade has a lot of work to do.
I think the first person that gets the Heritage Druid online, and when they activate it for GGG, it's just usually going to turn into GG, if you know what I mean. So
there's 5 Gs there. Yeah, 3 for mana, 2 for the game being over. Reclamation Sage? Oh, no. Just Reclamation Sage is just a creature. Just running out an elf.
I can't imagine that's what you want to be doing.
Can't be good. And there is an Elvish Mystic. So here we go. The engine is online. Magnus Lanto firing off what's going to be the first an Elvish Mystic, but remember, that's netting him 2 mana on that play there. Now he's got 5, and here's the first collected company we get to see.
Jeez. And the nice thing is he can tap the Elvish Druid or Elvish Mystic immediately, right? For the mana.
Totally. Check out Nettle Sentinel here. Whenever you cast a green spell, you may untap Nettle Sentinel, so collected company fires that off, and off we go. The second one hitting the stack here. And it's only a matter of time before Azuri is going to have enough to start overrunning.
Looks like he only hit 1 Heritage Druid off the first collected company.
And off the second one, he's got Essence Warden and Llanowar Elves. So you can see with 5 mana, he can give elf creatures he controls +3/+3 and trample until end of turn.
I think the only thing he's missing here is a Nykthos to really go off, but I mean, it's already looking pretty bleak.
Yeah, Ole Rade has to just sit here and watch his opponent.
Overrun?
And there's one overrun. Now this is kind of a value overrun that I was describing in the pregame. He's going to attack for 10 here. That does set up the win next turn, but the other creatures that just came into play, you can see the creatures on the side here, all these 4 all have Summoning Sickness and aren't able to attack this turn. And that's going to do it. Magnus Lanto, in very quick fashion, finishes off Ole Rade, and yeah, it turns out that die roll was pretty important.
So it goes.
Now, take a look at the sideboard for me here, Kenji. Is there anything that can start interacting with what the other person's doing?
I would definitely bring in Beast Within. I mean, even though Azuri can regenerate other elves, you need to deal with like the Heritage Druid and whatnot. Just you can't let them get that explosive mana. I don't know. Is Kitchen Fiends good in the mirror?
God,
maybe.
None of these cards seem good in the mirror.
Yeah.
We're looking at it. It's 3 Beasts Within, a Burton Forge Tender, a Choke, and a 2 Eternal Witness, a Kataki's War's Wage, Kitchen Finks ×3, a Malira, Spellskite, and a Thrun. I
Oh, it looks like both.
don't think any of these are coming in.
Yeah.
You can see how quickly they mulligan there.
Both the
Or, excuse
5?
me, sideboarded there. And it does look like they're both starting on less than the full amount here.
Yeah, they both have pretty decent starts, it looks like. No Heritage Druid nonsense yet. But
For either.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, I was looking for that myself. All right, well, this will help find one.
Yes, it will.
Here's a Fauna Shaman, and there's a Nettle Sentinel also for Olerade, so a much better start. Remember, he's on the play this time, so he has that advantage. And you got to like the hand here for Magnus Lanto. He's got a lot of action. He's going to be able to play an Elvish Mystic this turn as well. So both players really kind of just dumping their hand, but you got to figure that the Fauna Shaman's going to give the flexibility to Ole to really find the pieces he needs.
I completely agree. And even with the Eternal Witness, he can get back any creature that he decides to dump with the Fauna Shaman.
Totally.
So it looks like the Elvish Archdruid was the draw. And that is going to start making things pretty unbearable for Magnus, I think.
It is, so you can take a look here at Elvish Archdruid, pumps up all the rest of your elves, and it also taps to add a mana for each elf you control.
I definitely think Azuri's the better draw, but if you need to draw something, yeah.
Yeah, and this is going to apply a significant amount of pressure, because if they both go elf for elf, but one of them has an elf lord, then that's of course going to favor the one with the lord. Now they're back to even here, though, as they've both got Elvish Archdruid and have pretty similar board states going.
The actual mirror.
Yeah, but here's that Fauna Shaman. Now you can get rid of an Eternal Witness and start looping those, though.
So what do you search for?
Yeah, that's the
Probably
question.
Azuri.
I mean, Heritage Druid is a way to get a bunch of mana, but I think right now that Ole just wants to start going over the top. Maybe it's just an Azuri. You know, the Azuri can get activated with Elvish Archdruid once Azuri's on the table, because that'll tap for 5.
All right, we'll see what he gets here.
So you can see there. All right, so he's discarded one of the witnesses. That was his only option, and right now Olerade is digging around in the toolbox here to see what his weapon of choice is to defeat.
You know, again, it's a great
friend.
toolbox, but just not for the mirror.
Right. Yeah, again, having never played a single game with this deck, I would assume that Azuri is what you want to go over the top, but Ole is taking a pretty good long look here to see how he has to plan this out. I mean, these turns, he's going to have to sequence these out pretty specifically. He's going for a second copy of Elvish Archdruid.
That
So
seems pretty good.
yeah, that also seems great.
I mean, that's going to give him the infinite mana he needs. Oh, effectively, just a ton of mana for every elf that he owns. And then with the Court of Calling, I guess you can get the Azuri end of turn. Not this turn, but...
Not this turn. Yeah, he could go get a 1-drop as it sits.
Oh, 2. He has 1 floating.
Ah, sorry. Yep, 1. He can go get a 2-drop currently.
Looks like he is going to chord here. For 2?
He's courting for 2.
Yeah.
It's going to untap the Nettle Sentinel.
I have to imagine randomly drawing your Essence Ward in this matchup to play early is also pretty decent. Maybe not. I guess with the overrun effect, it's just you go over the top so quickly.
I think you can gain 5 or 10 life even, and
it won't even matter.
It's like whatever. That's 1 creature worth of life.
Again, thinking about what he's going to get here with the chord.
Yeah, he
this
fired
is
it
going
off for
into
2.
play or onto the battlefield.
That's right. It looks like he might take an Elvish Visionary here. That gives him an extra elf body on the battlefield and also gives him a card in hand.
Okay. I mean, again, he has Eternal Witness, so
that's right.
He has an additional copy of whatever he wants, effectively.
And he found a Llanowar Elves that he actually just can't cast this turn. But he is going to go ahead and attack with his Nettle Sentinel. He's fine trading it for any 2 of the creatures on Magnuson's side of the board.
Yeah, why not? It's a 4/4.
That's right, and Magnuson declines that. Drops down to 10, so his life total is falling pretty quickly. But
so we're going to see probably a Heritage Druid, right? End of turn here?
That would give
Magnus?
him a lot of extra mana.
Oh, no, he's going to get the Nettle Sentinel.
Nettle Sentinel. He finds an Eternal Witness, so pretty similar draws. Lots of Court of Callings and Eternal Witnesses for both players.
I guess they'd rather have the bigger body first before they get the explosive amounts of mana.
And Magnus looks like he had a bead on something there, but has rewound here and is now surveying the scene. Both of these players, by the way, are sitting at 3-1. They both 2-1'd. Well, I know Ole 2-1'd.
Magnus 3-0'd the Vintage.
He 3-0'd Vintage and lost his first round here, and Ole 2-1'd Vintage and won his first. We got a chance to see that in the red zone just at the end of the last round for those that are watching live.
I think Magnus is definitely drawn better. The double Court of Calling, well, I guess in conjunction with the Eternal Witness, just...
Yeah, he could court up an Azuri.
Or a random surprise Archdruid to pump up his team.
Yeah.
Block.
Now, Ole's going to be very keenly aware of this fact. He's going to run out a Llanowar Elves here. He's got another copy of it in his hand, so not a whole lot going on for him here.
And he knows Magnus has the cord from the Witness.
That's right.
Is this what you expected when we'd see some Modern today?
This is not what I expected. By the way, those Elvish Archdruids tap for 8 each.
Holy moly.
This is getting insane. He's going to use 1 mana from Fauna Shaman, and you can see Magnus just kind of smiling over there.
There it is, he knows.
There's Azuri, who, remember, Ole's already got 4 mana in his pool, so he only needed 1 more, and that's going to prompt a concession there as Ulirade evens things up. And
Marshall, do you notice each player that was on the play won the game?
Yeah, I was just going to say that.
Just saying.
So our prediction kind of came through on that. Very quick sideboarding as well. I think that we answered the question that you had earlier about, did they plan for the mirror? Well, not really, no.
I like how each of them giving a little chuckle, knowing what's going on. All right. What do you think? Does Magnus opt to draw here in Game 3?
No.
Just making sure.
All right, so an elf for an elf here to kick things off for Game 3 to decide who is going to be the champion of the Elf Mirror. And Magnus Lanto has staked his claim here with a turn 2 Elvish Archdruid.
Off of Llanowar Elves here, and he has the Nykthos.
He does.
Yikes.
That could be a lot of mana. His hand looks pretty decent here, too, with Collected Company, Court of Calling, and another Llanowar Elf, but it doesn't look too bad for Ole either.
No, I see the Heritage Druid and the Nettle Sentinel.
Yeah.
Oh, see, he is going to play out the Warden first, get that life.
Yeah, I mean, Mize, right? You got to get that value.
All right, here it comes. Now remember, Heritage Druid basically has haste when it comes to its own ability.
And there we go, 3.
He's going to play the Warden, untap the Sentinel, play the Visionary, draw a card. He can even activate it again. But I guess you wouldn't want a cord for 0. That makes no sense. I'm going to say that this Warden wins Ole the game.
The Warden?
Yep.
That's the key card here?
I'm calling it.
All right, well, I'll be on the other side of that coin.
I don't believe it, but I'm calling it.
I'm going to say that the Warden ends up making him click a bunch of extra cards, but ultimately doesn't get him anywhere.
Oh, so he hits another Elvish Mystic here.
Yeah, which allows him to kind of keep going off here. And there's that critical life game that you outline now. He could actually cord for a 1-drop here, right?
He could. I don't think he wants to anymore.
Yeah.
He already has the Druid and the Sentinel.
Right, so this is a question of, again, getting the big hitters now,
Exactly.
the Azuris and the Elvish Archdruids. He could use his mana efficiently if he did that, but he would leave himself top decking and really needing to find one of those big hitters if he's going to steal this game for Magnus, who, remember, was on the play here.
Correct.
Does trigger a lot.
Now remember, each of these Llanowar Elves for Magnus is effectively free because it's adding an additional mana with the Elvish Archdruid.
That's right. All right, so there it is. Collected Company.
Boy.
Oh, it's going to find a copy of Elvish Archdruid and...
He might just be, maybe just one hit.
That would be so unlikely, I think, in a deck like this.
Well, we saw it last game. And I mean, I would take Archdruid over almost all other 2s.
33 creatures, I think I'm counting here. He is thinking.
Yeah, I mean, that means he's probably clicking the cards on the bottom. Oh.
It was an Eternal Witness.
Yes.
That Collected Company was so much fun the first time.
Why not do it again?
How about we just get it back?
Now he has 3 mana floating, and he can chord for 4? Wowzers.
All right, there's that chord.
For 3. I wonder what that's getting. Oh.
Hey, look. It's Azuri.
Look at that. Marshall, do you know how much mana he has next turn?
How much? Count it up for me.
Oh, yeah.
I can't count that high.
6, 12. Oh, and he has Nykthos? It's like a million, Marshall. Actual million.
Too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15.
He has 11 green
17,
symbols
19,
right now.
27 has been called.
Now remember, you can activate Azuri multiple times in one turn.
Yes.
So I'm curious how you're feeling about the Essence Warden for Olerade. Is that still going to save him?
It's overpowered, clearly. He's at 27.
Yeah, well, you know what beats overpowered? Overrun. Especially when you can do it like 3 or 4 times, maybe even 5. I don't think that Ole will give us the satisfaction
of seeing the damage go through?
The 5th overrun go on the stack, yeah, but I wouldn't mind seeing it.
He has to think how he wins this turn.
And you know what? He's not going to win this turn. He
smiles.
Yeah, he's got to give him a smile. He says, nice deck. Magnus Lanto, though, is our victor here. He is going to improve to 4-1 and knock Olerade down to 3-2.
Yes.
Both still looking fine, though. Remember, this is a small field tournament. There's only 16 players. It's not like at a GP or a Pro Tour where you're going to play a different player every round, going through 2 full days here. We do have 2 days of Swiss, but you could play the same player. You have about as many rounds as people in there. Welcome back to the booth, by the way. That's Kenji Gashir, Marshall Sutcliffe, and we are at the Magic Online Championship here in Seattle, Washington. And we are halfway through the Modern rounds now.
Yeah.
So we're kind of working our way through here, and we are seeing some decks here in Modern that we don't necessarily expect to see. For example, Elves.
This is what I came to see, the new decks.
Yeah, these are sweet. And we actually had a few others earlier. Why don't we head over, though, to Brian David Marshall. He's standing in the red zone right now, and maybe he even has some more spicy brews for us.
I don't know about Spice, Marshall, but I definitely have 2 decks. I'm curious how they match up. Who wins a battle between Infect and Affinity? 2 of the fastest decks in the Modern format. Lucas Dukow hasn't gotten on the board yet. His opponent, Sebastian Pazzo, 1-3 coming in, and we pick things up. Lucas is on the play, and he's played a Forest and a Noble Hierarch. So at this point, you have a fairly good read that your opponent's on. In fact, when we were doing the Modern Masters Rotisserie draft, this was a signal that you wanted, in fact, the Noble Hierarch pick. So, but an Inkmoth Nexus, Welding Jar, Ornithopter and a Signal Pest is the opening for a Pazzo here. So, turn 2, Blighted Agent, uh-oh. Passes the turn. So there's another Nexus. That's a Blinkmoth Nexus. Plays an Arcbound Ravager. Attacks with his 2 creatures that can attack. But drops Duke out to 19. Okay, he casts Gataxian Probe. He looks at Pazzo's hand. So he's going to know if the coast is clear here or not. Verdant Catacombs. Casts Might of Old Krosa. So There you see now, suddenly, this is a 5/5 Blighted Agent. It attacks, gets the Noble Hierarch's Exalted bonus, so it's a 7. And then, oh, there's the Vines of the Vastwood. So this is a turn 3 kill here.
Extend the hand.
That's a turn 3 kill, 10 infect. The game is over.
Wow.
Lucas Dukow takes game 1 against, a pretty fast draw from Affinity. Not a completely broken draw, but I mean, it's like, he did put a lot of permanents into play on turn 1 there. So let's take a look at game 2. See how that went. And Pazzo is on the play this game. He leads off with a Darksteel Citadel and not much else. Nothing on turn 2 from Pazzo. Whoops. There we go. But there's the Blighted Agent. So Ornithopter, Steel Overseer versus Blighted Agent. I have a feeling I know how this ends. There's a Welding Jar. There's a lot of affinity there. But Dismember takes out the Blighted Agent. Okay, maybe it's not going to go the way we thought. Activate the Steel Overseer. Get in for 1 with the Ornithopter. Start building up your team. Okay. Another Blighted Agent for Dukow. All right. Here's Cranial Plating. Equip the Ornithopter. As you can see, it is now a 6/3. Activate Steel Overseer. Attack for 7. All right. What does Blighted Agent have in store? Attack. Mutagenic Growth. Mutagenic Growth?
Please, yes.
What is it? Become immense! So, Blighted Agent is indeed immense. It's an 11/11 unblockable infect creature. And Lucas is on the board here in the Magic Online Championship. Sebastian Pazzo takes his 4th loss of the tournament. So, we also have another match here. Well, we're looking at these. This is Maxime Martin versus Marcus Schwartz. So let's take a look. Let's see what this match looks like. So we see an Urza's piece, Urza's Tower, Chromatic Star, and this is an epic battle, right? The mono red deck, or the mostly mono red deck versus the Tron, and a Monastery Swiftspear on turn 1 starts doing some work. Go through, power through the star to get another piece of the Urza. Tron, get an Expedition map, get another Chromatic Star. Okay, Lava Spike you. So, I mean, Maxime's already at 10 here. Getting hit pretty hard, but he just completed the Tron. There you go. So, 7 mana. He's still got an Expedition map. He's still got a Chromatic Star for colored mana. Activates the star, activates the map, and there's Oblivion Stone.
To kill a monastery.
To kill a Monastery Swiftspear. The right tool for the right job. What can I tell you? Okay. Nope.
He suspended a Rift Bolt there.
He suspended a Rift Bolt there. But there's an Eye of Ugin. Rift Bolt's going to resolve. Here we go. He puts it over to the Spellskite, so he goes to 8 instead of going to 7. In comes the Swiftspear. Yeah, Spellskite's going to block. It's going to die. And we're going to activate Eye of Ugin at the end of the turn. And I think, to the surprise of nobody, we are going to see a Wormcoil
Worm
Engine.
Daddy.
There you go. Tap 2 lands, play Wormcoil Engine. Totally fair. There's a Relic of Progenitus. And no miracles off the top here for the red deck. This is going to end pretty quickly.
It usually only takes one hit.
Yeah. Yeah, the game is ended. He didn't even want to go through with it anymore. So let's take a look at how the second game went there.
It's always best.
I actually have not had a chance to look at this game yet, but it is. So let's take a quick. So there's a Goblin Guide. Another Goblin Guide. And then the Tron being assembled. Pyroclasm off the Chromatic Star. Lightning Bolt you to 11. Get you down to 8 with a Lava Spike. Nature's Claim, my own artifact.
That's sweet.
To gain some life. Nature's Claim, my own star. Go up to 12. And it looks like Marius Schwartz is out of gas. Karn liberated from the Tron player. He has a Skull Crack. He has a Lightning Bolt.
Oh.
He's out of cards, though. Here's Ancient Stirrings.
One of those bolts actually hit Karn, it looks like.
Yeah. There's the Lava Spike.
Right.
Down to 6. And there's Worm Coil Engine. So Tron takes it over the mono red deck. There you go. It sounds like send it back to the booth. You guys have something else queued up for us?
Yeah, we do. We've got an interview down on the floor right now, so let's send it down to that.
Hey everyone, I'm Eric Froelich at the Magic Online Championship, and we have another interview, this time with feature match winner Magnus Lanto. Just defeated teammate Ole Rade. You guys tested together for the event. Have you guys known each other for a long time? I mean, we know that Ole's been playing since the dawn of time or the dawn of planes or what have you. Have you been playing for a long time? Have you guys working together for a long time?
Yeah, we've been playing together now for a few years, but we've seen each other on the Swedish team for maybe 15, 20 years.
So you played the Elves deck in this event, a deck that not too many people are familiar with, myself included. I think this deck's pretty sweet. What brought you to play this deck, and how much testing did you guys do for Modern?
We actually didn't do much testing for Modern because I think we both thought Modern was our strongest format and had our decks decided a long time ago. Then just this last weekend, Ollie started playing it for fun, and it seemed pretty busted.
So, of course, you're looking forward to play the mirror match. First of all, you're 1-0 in that. What are the other matchups that you feel like you're really advantaged in? If you could choose your pairings for 4 rounds of common Modern decks that you expected to see, what would that be?
Absa was our favorite matchup to win, but I think the deck might not have the best matchups here, but it just seemed it might be a broken deck, and most people wouldn't be prepared for it, so we just took the chance to play something like that. Like
So
Queen is probably not a great matchup, but you can win it, and the same with I guess the Grixis deck is not great, but it's winnable.
So the new card in the deck, I guess, is Collected Company. Are there any other big changes to the deck that have kind of put it over the top now from a deck that we really haven't seen much? Modern's been around for a while now. We haven't seen much of the Green Elves deck. Collected Company is a pretty fantastic new card. Is there anything else that you feel like really put it over the top at this point?
I don't think it existed even before. It's Collected Company that does the deck. Court of Calling is fine, of course, but that would never been enough. It's the company that's it's put us over the top, and it's so good against grindy matchups. You can just come back from, even after a sweeper, you can come back if you have a company.
The Collected Company instant speed, putting a couple creatures into play, it's pretty awesome. You moved to 4-1 in this event, just a fantastic start, and I wish you luck the rest of the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Ifra. Welcome back to the booth. That's Kenji Gasher, Marshall Stuycliffe. Still another match out there, Kenji.
Let's do it.
Yeah, there's one left. Brian David Marshall is queuing it up as we speak so that we can get a look at what was going on over there in the red zone. Let's see what's going on. BDM, one more round to go, or one more match out there, I should say.
he's playing against Lucas Dusek this round. We've talked about a lot of unusual ways to get cards into play. I think there's something pretty interesting here in store. Ishimura is up a game, and we pick things up with Dusek resolving a turn 1 Marsh Flats activation for Godless Shrine, and Inquisition of Kozilek nabs a Spell Snare from the blue-white Tron player, plays a Seachrome Coast. So Relic of Progenitus now activates the Relic, and Ishimura begins to assemble his Tron. Pair of Towers is not the way to do it, though. So now Dusek casts Spectral Procession. He's playing, again, he's playing black-white tokens. The Spectral Procession gets remanded. And is that 3 towers? Yes, it is. Not the 2 towers, but the 3 towers for Ishimura, who is going to be able to resolve his Spectral Procession this turn. Possibly. No, chooses not to. And there's a Gifts Ungiven from Ishimura at the end of the turn, and he has a negate, which is why he chose not to play that spell. And then Thirst for Knowledge main phase for Shintaro. He discards an Azorius Signet and plays Academy Ruins. So there's the Spectral Procession. And now a full set of towers. 4 towers in play. What is going on here? And not going to let that Academy Ruins do much work against him. Dusek's just been working the Relic of Progenitus pretty steadily, keeping Ishimura's graveyard at 1 or no cards whenever possible. And he, of course, can pop it and, just exile the entire graveyard if he needs to. So there's Lingering Souls, another Gifts Ungiven for Ishimura. What's Dusek got? He's got another negate. So Gifts Ungiven has not been resolving, and we see the same sequence. He's like, okay, main phase, I'll play Thirst for Knowledge. Discards a Signet again. Gets a second Seachrome Coast. So now he's got quite the Air Force going. He's got 5 tokens. There's Sorin Solemn Visitor. Everything's +2, +1, I should say. And now, what are we doing? We're tapping. That's a hard cast Elishnorn. That's not how we see this card get into play very often.
I guess that's one thing you can do with 4 towers.
Just tap them for 4 mana.
So it seems.
Wow. So at 5 life, Ishimura seems to be stable behind an Elishnorn. There's an Intangible Virtue. Sorin goes up to 6 here. It's going to fall to 2, I assume. Yes. Tax it. Wow. just pay full retail for an Ugin.
Wow.
Finish off Sorin and start. There's a Thoughtseize.
That's a little late.
I don't think this is how he drew it up.
Yeah, this is not how this match is supposed to work. And the game is over. Shintaro Ishimura wins with a hard cast Elishnorn, a hard cast Ugin. By the way, in game 1, he hard cast Iona Shield of Emeria. So it was a very, very strange route to 2 wins for Ishimura. So sending it back to you guys in the booth here.
Wow. Thanks for that one, BDM. That was great stuff.
Towers do so little work and
yet so much. I mean, he cast Ugin hard cast off of drawing, terribly for Tron pieces, but
he got there.
Whoa, that was not what I expected. And once Elishnorn hits against the tokens player, they have to have an answer for it and a way to rebuild. It really puts the ball in their court.
Yeah, unless they've already had multiple intangible virtues out, it's just game over.
Right, and even if they do, it still shrinks them down so much that losing one of them to to a Karn or something like that, or even Ugin can really get the job done. All right, well, we're going to take a quick commercial break, but we'll be back with more Magic action here from the Magic Online Championship after this.
The new Magic Online exclusive Tempest Remastered combines the best of Tempest, Stronghold, and Exodus into an exciting new draft experience with events running until May 27th. Sign up for Magic Online at mtgo.com. Modern Masters 2015 edition comes to Magic Online on May 28th. With 8 4 and 6 222 draft queues, 64-player single elimination draft tournaments, plus Phantom Sealed and Phantom Draft events, there's something for every Modern Masters fan. Visit mtgo.com for more information. Do you dream of playing in next year's Magic Online Championship? Season 6 of the Magic Online Championship Series runs until May 27th, so log on and earn those qualifying points today. Visit mtgo.com for more information and a complete schedule. Want to see some sweet standard decks? Every Tuesday, 8 of the best Magic players in the world get on Magic Online and try to win this week's installment of the Standard Super League. Luis Scott Vargas and Randy Buehler bring you all the action live on twitch.tv/magic, or you can catch up with previous episodes.
All right, so there's actually one more round still going. BDM, what's going on down there in the feature match?
All right, well, I don't know how much longer it's going to be going. I'm watching Jasper De Jong playing against Lars Dom. Jasper's just cast an Eternal Witness, and he is bringing back... Not sure what he's bringing back there. I missed that. But as you can see, he's way advantaged here on board against an Insectile Aberration. Lars is at 3, Jasper's at 7. So this is like podless pod. Oh. So, all right, I'm gonna talk very quietly here because apparently the players are right on the other side of our partition. So. What are... So we're going to let the guys in the booth take this.
Okay, we can commentate it, sure. All right, so we're just going to take over this one, you and I, Kenji, because the players can actually hear BDM, but we're in a soundproof booth, so we can actually commentate this thing live where they can't hear us. And it looks like... Now, there's a lot of pod-like elements on the top part of that screen there, but we know the birthing pod's not legal in this format anymore. So what are we looking at here, Kenji?
Well, I think Jasper's looking for either Anafenza or Malira here. And in conjunction with Viscera Seer and Kitchen Finks can either gain, an infinite number of life or just, I guess, scry through his deck until he finds a Murderous Redcap to go infinite as well.
So we're looking at a podless pod deck here then?
Pretty much.
Okay. Just doing it the good old-fashioned way with Court of Calling. Oh, but this is interesting. Again, Collected Company has made an appearance here in Modern. Maybe a card we're going to see a lot of. We've already seen 2 completely different archetypes.
In these green-based decks, it's really, really nice. It's just hitting... It doesn't even have to be your combo pieces. It's just value creatures.
Right, and you get to do it on your opponent's end step, so you can pick a fight with them if they're the type of deck that is going to try to be countering your spells. If they're not, you can just surprise them by changing the combat math.
I like the, again, the tool package of a lot of one-ofs in this deck.
It is one downside to the instant kill here is that Collected Company doesn't actually hit the one Murderous Redcap here. You're going to have to cord for that one.
Well, he does have Eternal Witnesses to get it back. If it's
get which back?
To get anything back if he does somehow mill his win conditions.
Yeah, he can get it back. I just mean, if he fires off Collected Company going for the win, he won't be able to hit Murderous Redcap as part of that. But he can hit a lot of other things. Kitchen Finks and Malira that you mentioned with the Sacrifice Outlet. This deck is running 4 Viscera Seer.
It looks like we're getting an all-out attack here on Jasper's turn.
And this could be over quite quickly here as Lars is firing off a Snapcaster Mage.
Now, I do see a Lightning Bolt in the graveyard.
I do as well. We'll just let this sit. I actually can't control it currently because we're watching the red zone screen that BDM is controlling. But as he mentioned before we left there, we're in a fairly small room here, and no shuffling, not that many people. It's quiet out there on the floor, and that's why we sent it over to you and I, Kenji, because we're in a soundproof booth where the players can't hear us. By the way, just talking about it a second ago, there's Collected Company.
So we haven't yet gone to blocks. I think Jasper's just waiting to see if if Lars had anything to do in response.
You're correct. Yeah, we're still in the attack step here. You can see on the bottom of the screen there's a big row. That circle will tell you which phase or step we're in at any given point. And the question here is, can Lars Dom survive the turn at only 3 life here? He's being attacked for 9.
Assuming Snapcaster hit Lightning Bolt, then yes, he can survive at 1, I believe.
Would he have any creatures left?
No. And he'd have to block the Finks in addition, so he would come back with Persist.
Yeah, so this is looking pretty rough here for Lars, who is in the tank here, still on attacker, still has a flashback bolt is what we're thinking. And
he does have 1 card in hand as well.
He does. Would have to be, what, Disfigure or something along those lines. 1 mana to kill a creature in blue or black. That's what
could have a Slaughter Pact, you know?
Slaughter Pact, there you go. That'll do it. Even less than 1 mana.
Mm-hmm. But then again, he's just dead afterward, if that's the case.
Yeah. You know, I think one of the things that he wanted to try to do here was set up, if he can survive this turn, can he actually kill Jesper if he can find, you know, maybe a certain card off the top of his deck or whatever, you know, a bolt or something along those lines.
It looks like the bolt was the flashback.
So bolt's going to take out Witness. Kitchen Fink's going to get blocked.
So he's going to sack the Witness in response to the Viscera Seer and get a Scry. I wonder if he should waited to have collected company after.
You know, I wonder too.
You know? After he scried.
He must have had something specific in mind that he was hoping to hit.
Well, if you look at the deck list, it doesn't look like there's anything that would have changed that. Oh, maybe no, I lied. Scavenging Ooze. He could have hit Scavenging Ooze, eaten the card that Snapcaster was targeting.
Spellskite also.
Ah, sure, yeah.
Yeah, he can soak up the bolt. So that makes sense, but it is going to leave Lars Dom at a paltry 1 life, top decking to join 1 additional card in hand. He's only got 2. There's no 2 cards in Modern that do 9 damage here. I mean, there are a few cards that he could play to help shore up this board state. I don't know if his deck plays them. Probe is definitely not one of them. And it looks like Lars Dom is not going to defeat Jesper in this particular match.
Probe into Drowned in Sorrow?
Yeah, that's going to do it right there. Jesper is our winner there. Now, that was the actual last match going there here in the 5th round of action. We're in the Modern portion. And that's going to put Jesper at 5-0.
Is he 5-0 now?
Yeah, he was 4-0 coming into this. And
Nice.
Lars was 3-1.